Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Monday, June 20th, and this is MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be taking a quick look back at yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out. Talking about my core picks for the FanDuel main slate today. I believe it's an 8-game main slate overall. And then going over to my article over at WeBetATS.com and talking about my top GPP stacks for the FanDuel main slate today as well. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. At the pitcher position, we had Dane Dunning, $8,600. Unfortunately, he got to 5 points, so he was obviously a mess. Gave up too many runs yesterday. On paper, really good matchup against Detroit, one of the worst offenses in all of baseball. And Dane Dunning is a guy that does get strikeouts, so in theory, it should have worked out. It just did not happen yesterday. Then at first base, we had CJ Cron, $4,100. Got to 18.9 points, so he was a hit. And then we had Corey Seager at shortstop, $3,100, got to 24.7 points, so he is at the second overall shortstop on this slate yesterday. In the outfield, we had initially Marcell Ozuna. He was $3,200. He didn't end up playing. I said you could go to Cedric Mullins or Austin Hayes. Cedric Mullins is the one I played in most of mine just because he was also $3,200. He got to 9.5 points, so he is ahead as well. And then Austin Hayes, if you played him, $3,300. He had decent history versus Corey Kluber yesterday, but he ended up with 0 points. He was messing over 3 on the day, so just kind of unfortunate there. And then last but not least, we had Adam Duvall. This was the guy I was kind of debating whether or not I put him in my core yesterday. Ended up with 0 points. He was a messing over 4 on the day, unfortunately, as well. So we had 3 hits, 2 misses, essentially, with Dunning and Duvall. On paper, they looked good. Probably work out more times than not, just didn't end up happening yesterday. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the core picks for today. So we're going to start off at the pitcher position. I'm paying down a little bit today with Noah Syndergaard, $7,800. Only averaging about 24 fantasy points per game on the season. Been a very, very interesting year for him, but he does go against the Kansas City Royals offense today and not too afraid of them. The biggest thing for Syndergaard is he's not striking out batters as much nowadays. Has some strikeout potential in this matchup. If he can give you 6-7 strong innings, quality start, a win, that's 10 points right there. Looking pretty good today. Then at first base, we have Jose Abreu, $3,300, averaging just over 10 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Toronto Blue Jays and Jose Barrios. He has a ton of history versus him and some pretty good success as well. He's 16 for 53 with 3 home runs versus Jose Barrios. So I do like the upside that Jose Abreu does present today. Then at second base, we're going with Jonathan Villar, $2,600, so a little bit of a pay down spot here. Averaging about 7 fantasy points per game on the season. And he's going to be a guy that you just want to make sure is in that starting lineup for the Cubs today. If he's in the starting lineup, if he's kind of in that middle of the order, where he's projected to go, this could be a very good play today. He is 4 for 7 with 2 home runs versus JT Brubaker in his career. So another guy that definitely offers a ton of upside. Then we're going to move down to Shohei Ohtani in the outfield. Priced down to $3,600, averaging over 11 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Kansas City Royals, and Chris Bubich today is 2 for 3 with 1 home run versus him in his career. So there is a little bit of upside there. It is important to note that he's 0 for his last 13, but I think he does definitely turn that around in a big way today. Then last but not least, we have George Springer, $3,500, averaging about 11.5 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Chicago White Sox. Lance Lynn is pitching today. It is his second start back from the IL. First one didn't go so hot. Lance Lynn, primarily a fastball pitcher. If he's not on top of his game, if he's not locating his fastball well, he has the opportunity to get hit and hit hard. So George Springer, definitely a guy I have a lot of interest in today. Batting leadoff most likely for the Toronto Blue Jays. And he is 6 for 21 with 1 home run versus Lance Lynn in his career. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $14,200 remaining, just over $3,500 per player. So definitely some potential to pay up for another player or 2 if that's something you really want to do, and then probably potentially pay down for 2 other value players. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced build, that's definitely something that's viable on today's slate as well. If you want to pay up at the pitcher position, you can look at Max Fried at $9,800. You could look all the way up to Corbin Burnes at $10,800. At the top, there are some pretty good pitchers there. I will admit that. But with it being said, we'll get moved over to my article over at WeBetATS.com and talk about my top GPP stacks for today. So I do have 4 today. Yesterday I had 5. Kind of unfortunate day because some of them didn't really turn out like they probably should have, but every day is a new day in MLB DFS. So we're going to start off with the San Diego Padres going against Zach Davies today. This one's kind of a coin flip because you never know how well Zach Davies is going to pitch. He's pitching a little bit better as of late, but he could also give up some runs as well. So I definitely do have some interest in these Padres hitters. I believe Jorge Alfaro and Eric Hosmer were the two that had the best history versus him in the past. So maybe looking at those guys today. Then we have the Boston Red Sox going against Alex Fadio, probably mispronouncing his name there, for the Detroit Tigers. He's pitched very well to start the year. I think it was like 7 starts with 2 earned runs or less, but he did give up 7 runs last time out against the White Sox. So do have some interest in these Boston Red Sox bats once again today. As I mentioned, Toronto Blue Jays, going to be a pretty good looking one today, especially if Lance Lynn is not on top of his game. As I mentioned when I was talking about George Springer, Lance Lynn's second start back for the season. And as much as it pains me as a White Sox fan, didn't pitch that well the first time out. If he cannot locate his fastball the best, or he has a little bit of velocity off of his fastball, he's probably going to get hit and hit hard today once again. So definitely have some interest in these Blue Jays hitters. And then last but not least, we have the Angels going against Chris Bubich of the Kansas City Royals. He has an ERA over 8 at this point in time. I believe he's had like 2 good starts this year, but other than that, not been too pretty. So Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, if you want to mix and match some of these other Los Angeles Angels hitters into your lineups today, definitely would be something to consider as well. But with that being said, these are my core 5 picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, June 20th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or whether it's a completely different player you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you had to say. But with it being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's MLB or USFL. Those are the 2 main ones at this point in time. The USFL regular season just did end this week. I may put out a post for the playoffs. Haven't decided on that one yet. But then once we get back around to the NFL and NBA regular season, I will be covering those 2 sports as well. And then with that being said, if you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.